James Van Der Beek. He died of bowel cancer. Seems like we lost a friend recently, Mike. I don't know if people know that it happened or remember. There's a Boxmack episode where he's prominently featured, and he died of pancreatic cancer somewhat suddenly, which is just absolutely devastating. And so we're praying for Aaron and, everybody around him. But it's just, so of course, my sister had cancer, and I don't know, man. It seems like the cancer is this, like, I know it's always killing people, but in my life, it seems to just be like leaping up. There's a guy in our Discord who's having a big struggle right now with this, like, he's getting this chest pump and all this stuff. He's scared. I'm like, man, you said it you were like, we got to do something about this cancer. We got to cure this fucking thing.
It does seem, I don't know, maybe we're just getting older and we're noticing it more, or I don't know. There's something. It's troubling, and you don't know how much time you have left, and you really don't. And I was hearing, like, with, these colorectal cancers, like they check them at like 50, but now they're saying, like, oh, maybe you need to check them early, because he was 48, right? So
48 years old. Yeah.
You got to check them earlier, and that's like, oh my goodness.
Nobody plans on. Everybody thinks. What do we all think? We think we're going to be 85, 90, maybe 95, and we're going to be surrounded by loved ones, and it's going to be unpleasant because dying is not so pleasant, but we'll have lived a long life, and hopefully we'll still have our faculties. Like, that's what I think, like, we're all under that delusion, and it's not normally how it goes. Like, I mean, sometimes that's how it goes. Hopefully that's how it goes, but it's not, and most people, it's not 48 either, but, anything, you just don't know the time, man. You don't know when time's up.
My father-in-law, he's Croatian. He has a Croatian saying. I don't know what it is in Croatian, but he translates it. Because every time something happens, he's like, who knows who dead, who alive? And I was like, who knows who dead, who alive? You're right. That feels right. It's like, you never know when your time is.
Well, to talk about James, I think he was a really interesting character. He obviously known for Dawson's Creek. And when I was a kid, so I would have first seen Dawson's Creek when I was 11, 6th grade. My sister was in high school and she was watching it. It was popular to watch it. And she started, like, making me tape it for her. And so naturally I watched it, and wouldn't, and first of all, it, like, to an 11-year-old, it was kind of compelling because it was, it's high schoolers. So it was like, they're a little bit older than you, and they've got these extremely sexy situations. And, the Pacey is fucking a teacher and stuff. And Dawson's parents are, one of them cheated on the other one, and it's deeply melodramatic, and they got Friday the 13th episodes and Christmas episodes, and it had, a banging 90s soundtrack, obviously.
It's famous for its soundtrack.
They had a gay character, it was, like, kind of intriguing back in the 90s. Like, that wasn't something you saw every day. Obviously, the thing that hooked me as an 11-year-old was Dawson wanted to be a filmmaker. He loved Steven Spielberg. That was, like, the whole thing.
Oh.
And he and Joey, Katie Holmes' character, platonic friends, but she's fallen in love with him. They're hanging out in his bedroom. Most of the cold opens before, I don't want to wait for our lives to be over. Before that, they would be sitting on the bed. And it was that's kind of a tale as old as time, which is like, we were friends as children. It's not weird for us to hang out in my bedroom. And, like, as we're creeping into puberty, like, it's weird to be hanging out. It's weird to be sitting on my bed, like, as a boy and a girl. And they're watching some horror movie, and they have some heady. It's Kevin Williamson, the guy who wrote Scream. He wrote all the dialogue, and so it's got kind of like Kevin Smithish kind of, like, spiky 90s dialogue. It's a corny 90s show, but I think you could do a lot worse than Dawson's Creek. But James himself was just, I don't know, he was just kind of very interesting. Like, he was obviously, like, smarter than the average kind of, like, 90s heartthrob. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he seemed like he had a good head on his shoulders. Yeah.
And there was the episode that, like, I'm pretty much always in the mood to watch. Like, you could get me at a drop of a drop of this hat to watch. Is, I think it's like season 2 something, where he actually makes his movie. Like his high school gives him the opportunity to make a movie, or it's like for a film festival or something. Michelle Williams, of course, she was in it. She's like the producer, and this one is the actor, and it's like everybody's getting together and making a movie. It's like a great episode of Dawson's Creek. Yeah, I remember there was as they're doing the production, they had that song that was like I knew you before the fall of Rome. You know that song? It's all been done. Woo-hoo.
Oh yeah.
I met you. Dawson, or James Van Der Beek, I would call the poor guy. You're the fucking Dawson, Jay and Silent Bob. He had posted some interesting Twitter videos. There was one about spring. He was like, how come the new year is always January? Why shouldn't the new year be during renewal, during spring? And he's gaunt, he's dying.
Why are we celebrating a new year in the dead of winter? Why are we celebrating new beginnings at a time when nature rests? Animals are hibernating. Birds fly south for the winter. The time to celebrate a new beginning and a new you and a new resolution is in the spring, at the vernal equinox, when the flowers bloom and it gets warmer and the birds return. That's how nature does it. Why are we fighting nature? I mean, all due respect to Pope Gregory VIII, who saddled us with this Gregorian calendar system, but it just makes absolutely no sense.
And there's another one where he was talking about like finding himself worthy of God's love. That was kind of heartbreaking.
So I was faced with the question, if I am just a too skinny, weak guy alone in an apartment with cancer, what am I? And I meditated and the answer came through. I am worthy of God's love. Simply because I exist. And if I'm worthy of God's love, shouldn't I also be worthy of my own? And the same is true for you.
Once, every time, I don't mean to eulogize every single celebrity that dies here, but when you're 48, and your time, it's like way too early. I have to reflect on like, so what do you do in the meanwhile? What do you do if it's you at 48? And I submit to you, if you'll permit me, there was, because I've been more interested in Lord of the Rings with the 25th anniversary. And there was a deleted scene from The Hobbit that I've never seen before. I watched the extended ones and I'm not a huge fan of the Hobbit movies, but I actually think that like there's a fan cut that condenses them and it actually works pretty well. It's like a 4-hour cut. It cuts out 7 or 8 hours of fucking movie. So it works pretty well. But there was a deleted scene that I'd never seen. It was on YouTube. And it was Bilbo. Martin Freeman is Bilbo. And he's surrounded by death and surrounded by this battle. And Bard, the guy from Dale, he's like, what do you do in the face of death? What do we do with all this death around us? And Bilbo has like a seed for a tree, and he's like looking around for like soil in this battleground, and he starts just like planting a seed. And he gives this really beautiful monologue about like, maybe it's stupid, maybe it's silly, but like, that's what we do. We plant something that's going to be here when we're not here, and I was like, oh, that's really like, it's also very Bilbo. It's very Hobbity and very, very Bilbo. It's Bilbo and not Frodo. You know what I mean? I was like, why would you going to cut that from the movie? Like that's like thematically like one of the strongest concepts there, but it's so true. It's like, you're not going to be here for long. Everything is a baton pass. Everything is like, knock your wife up, plant the seed, like have, keep this thing going, beyond you. It's got, we recently recorded this Hot Ones thing and John was asking me questions about how I've changed. And I'm like, well, I think that, as I've gotten older, I think being more oriented towards the next generation is like just so paramount. And so he had, I think, 6 children. James Van Der Beek did.
Oh yeah. He had a beautiful family, and I've seen,
of course, tragic to lose your father, 6 kids lose their father like that. But he planted seeds. He passed the baton, His face is in their faces,
Exactly. Yeah, and the work that he did before, and Dawson's Creek. Obviously, they I remember him from. I think he does a cameo in How I Met Your Mother.
Oh, really?
Where he dumps Robin because another girl has a jacuzzi. So sorry, she's got a jacuzzi.
He's funny. Jason Reitman, he directed Juno and Up in the Air and Thank You for Smoking. He made this other movie called Labor Day. It's not a great movie. But it's got a great cast. It's got Josh Brolin and Kate Winslet. And yeah, she's harboring a violent criminal who then turns out to be like a pretty good guy, and Josh Brolin, and he teaches the family how to make pie and stuff. And but she's harboring him. And James Van Der Beek is like the small town cop in this like star-studded movie. Like he like rolls up in like a cop car, and it's Van Der Beek. And I think he and Reitman might have been friends, and he's got a cool role. I don't know. There's something about him that like he exuded a certain intelligence. Again, like, you know, the sort that, come to think of it, you know, that Dawson's Creek cast, that's a pretty fucking great cast. You know,
oh, yeah.
James Van Der Beek, Joshua Jackson, Michelle Williams, you know, Academy Award winning, I think, right, or nominee, and then Katie Holmes. That was pretty crazy. That's a pretty crazy cast. I say, you know what, like, just in honor of James, if you love film, if you're a filmmaker, go watch that high school filmmaking episode just for fun. It'll put you in a mood. It'll put you in a good mood, I think.
I think so, probably. Yeah. I want to go see it.
yeah. It's different. You know, it'll remind you of a time. Goodbye to James Van Der Beek.